Hi everybody, old guy here, and the book today is this one, Ghostwalk by Rebecca Stout. And let's see, when was this published? 2007. My one-word description: tedious, confusing. Okay, so that's a second word, and ultimately dissatisfying because it does not resolve. Okay, so that's three words. That should be enough to tell you to go into this one with some wariness, but I suppose you want the reasons for that. First, this was written in a style that only an MFA professor would love. A first person talking to another person, so it's second person, but the first person is actually narrating, and the two of them are referring to another person or persons who conduct actions in between, and during the time, the first person is addressing the second person as third person. It's a bit of a giveaway when the author thanks her agent for understanding it on the first reading, because there's little chance most of the rest of us will, which implies a second or third reading to get it, but no thanks. So what's this about? Elizabeth Vogelsang, a historian researching Isaac Newton, drowns near Cambridge, and her body was found clutching a prism that once belonged to Isaac Newton that Elizabeth stole from a museum. Okay, so right off the bat, not the most honorable of people. Cameron Brown, Elizabeth's son, asks his doormat lover, Lydia Brooks, who is also a historian, to finish the manuscript. Ghostwrite it, in other words, so the perished Elizabeth can have her final credit. Although she broke up with Cameron sometime before, because it should have been obvious after a few years that Cameron was not going to leave his wife. But hey, Lydia's a doormat, and she readily agrees, and readily tumbles back into bed with Cameron about 3 or 4 seconds after taking the commission.
Here's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
Must be love. Lydia moves into Elizabeth's old house, which Cameron now owns, so that's convenient. She needs to access Elizabeth's notes and research. Here's where things get supernatural. Oh, you didn't know this was supernatural? You may have suspicion that from the title, but the first few chapters will lead you to conclude that, no, this is metaphor. It's research into long-dead alchemists and possible 16th century unsolved murders. So, yeah, but then a ghost shows up. Maybe. There's weird lights in the studio, so maybe that's supernatural, and Elizabeth sees a man all dressed in red in odd places, and maybe he's a ghost, and maybe this is all in Lydia's head. Who knows? That's one of the biggest problems with this book. You just don't know what it's supposed to be. Let's settle for all in Lydia's head, which seems more likely because she's a little bit unstable. Lydia figures out there's a missing chapter because it's referenced in notes but is nowhere about. It may indicate Newton had some people murdered, so his election to a fellows position at Cambridge would be more likely. These weren't people who opposed Newton, they were fellows themselves. And there's only so many fellows, so if you want to get elected, you're going to have to wait for an opening. And look at that! Openings conveniently appear as people die. Even the least aware among us would consider this suspicious.
The science of deduction.
Especially when similar murders began happening around Lydia. What the devil is going on? No idea. The current murders appear related to an absolutely crazy animal rights group that is somewhat perturbed by Cameron's employer, a pharmaceutical company that is doing just absolutely heinous things to animals. Made me want to throw a Molotov. So what does all this have to do with Newton's interest in alchemy, some convenient openings on the fellows list, and the mysterious man in red?
Beats me.
There's a trial in this too, and I'm not really sure who's on trial for what. Lydia is a witness and is savaged on the stand because I guess she's trying to protect Cameron, and well, dunno. I probably could have understood it if I had paid better attention, but by this time of the trial, this was a homework assignment. And I was just trying to get through it with minimal effort. Rebecca Stout really knows Cambridge because she was born there. She's written several nonfiction books about Victorian culture and is a professor of English literature and creative writing at East Anglia. An MFA professor. This is her first novel, as you could probably tell. Old guy here. See you later.